What if I told you that everything you have been taught about how to talk to women is wrong, completely wrong, and worse, it is that kind advice, the advice about being nice, about catering to her, that is turning you into the man she will never desire. In the next few minutes, I will not give you cliche phrases, no useless advice. I will give you a psychological weapon, a method from Machiavelli, a system to control the conversation and her mind. And if you stay until the end, I will reveal a single sentence, a 19-word linguistic trap. You can use it as soon as tonight to pin yourself to her mind, and she will not even know why. Let us begin. Most men enter a conversation with a woman, and they lose from the very first sentence. Their failure is not in what they say, but in the source of their words. It comes from need. The need for attention, the need for approval, the need for validation. They do not act like a strategist, they act like a beggar. They step onto the battlefield and immediately hand their opponent their strongest weapon. They become a reactive player instead of the one who leads. That is why they fail. Now, listen carefully. Machiavellian philosophy does not teach you how to be liked. It teaches you how to be respected. It teaches you that power comes from understanding the true nature of people. In communication with women, this means you control the conversation by understanding her psychology, not by following the social rules that 99% of other men are blindly following. Today is the day you stop playing the weak man's game. Today you will begin to become a strategist, someone who does not just participate in the conversation, but shapes and controls it, turning you into a presence that cannot be ignored and cannot be forgotten. The real difference? Forget about looks, forget about money. The difference has never been about those things. The difference is this. A small number of men understand that every conversation is a power exchange. They do not seek to win her approval. No, they seek to occupy the space in her mind. But there is a first secret, a foundation upon which everything else is built. Before you can control the conversation, you must control yourself. External dominance always originates from internal calm and self-mastery. A man who is not ruled by his own emotions cannot be ruled by others. So, how do you build this ironclad foundation of power? How do you stop giving away your power? Let us start with the biggest mistake you are making, that maybe, sir, you are completely unaware of. So, how do you build that foundation of power? By completely destroying the weakness within you. And we will start with the most fatal mistake, a trap that millions of men walk into every single day. It is called the servant mindset. Take a look back. 2 a.m. You are staring at your phone screen. You have just sent a long message, a manifesto of care trying to solve all the problems in her day, and the reply you get back after an hour of waiting? Thanks. That is it. What do you feel in that moment? An emptiness, a sense of helplessness. Welcome to the role of the good friend, a role you auditioned for yourself without even knowing it. Here's the raw, true truth. When you become her emotional servant, you are no longer a man in her eyes. You are a utility. You are her living diary where she unloads all her burdens. You are her emotional dumpster where she throws all her negativity, and after she is done using you, she feels relieved and goes off to find a man who can make her feel desire. You wonder why? Because you've turned yourself into a tool, and a tool is used and then put back in the box. No one desires a tool. The real change begins at this moment. The moment you realize that power only comes when her validation is no longer the prize, it is no longer what you hunt. Let me be clearer. The power of presence is when her beauty is no longer an anesthetic that paralyzes you. It is just data. Okay, she is beautiful. What is next? Her indifference, her silence is no longer a verdict that condemns you. It is just noise. Her emotions are her problem, not yours. And most importantly, her attention is not the golden trophy you must win. No, your attention is the prize. This is the Machiavellian mindset in action. You are calm, detached, and sovereign. Your universe does not revolve around her. You have a mission, a goal, a battle of your own. Your world keeps turning, with or without her. And here's the paradox. It is that very independence, that very I do not need you to survive energy, that makes her want to enter your world more than anything else. There is a name for this superpower: outcome independence. This is the ultimate psychological state, the impenetrable armor. It means your happiness and your value are not determined by her actions. She replies to your text? Good. She does not reply? Also good. You are still you. Your path remains unchanged. This energy, in itself, is a demonstration of power, because it sends a signal straight to her subconscious, an undeniable truth. This man does not need me. He does not need my attention. He does not need my approval. But remember this, the mindset is just the armor. It protects you. But to win, you need a weapon. The real weapon that lies in the words you choose. And more importantly, how you say them. That is when we enter the language of power. The mindset is your armor. Now we will talk about the weapon, the language of power. And the first and biggest secret is this: you must stop talking to her ears and start talking to her ego. Picture this. Her ego is like a silent guard standing right behind her eyes. It does not care about your stories. It does not care what you do for a living. It has only one mission: to scan for weakness. It is a machine that detects hesitation, uncertainty, and above all, neediness. And weakness in the eyes of that ego is not you stuttering. It is not the sweat on your hands. Weakness is the energy behind your words. Have you ever felt it? It is that slight upward inflection at the end of a question, as if begging for approval. It is the nervous smile you force after telling a joke, glancing quickly to see if she is laughing. It is you over-explaining yourself, as if you have to prove you are worthy of her time. The moment you walk in with that energy, her ego does not need to hear another word. It already has the answer. Subconsciously, a red flag is planted. This one can be controlled. Another one, not worth the chase. And you, become invisible. So, how do you beat that radar? You do not beat it. You use it against itself by creating confusion. Understand this. A woman's ego hates unsolved puzzles. It needs to label everything. Nice guy, jerk, funny guy. When you do not flinch at her tests, when you do not rush to fill the silence with excess words, you become something it cannot label. You are an anomaly. And her ego begins to fall into an endless loop. Why is he not trying to impress me? Why is he so calm? Why do I want his attention right now? That confusion is where obsession begins. This leads us to the golden rule of power language. A rule you must engrave in your mind. Tension over comfort. Most men choose comfort. They praise, they agree, they make everything easy, and they become boring, forgettable. The strategist chooses tension, because comfort is for friends, tension is for lovers, and here is why. Men desire what they see. Women desire what they imagine. When you create tension, mystery, you force her imagination to work for you, and her imagination is your most powerful weapon. How do you do that? With intentional ambiguity. This is not about saying things that are confusing. This is an art. You never give her the full picture. You only give her a few pieces of the puzzle. Instead of a cliché compliment like, "You are so beautiful," a compliment she has heard 1,000 times and which holds no value, look at her calmly, pause for a moment, and say, "You have a very particular energy. I have not decided what it is yet. See the difference?" The first statement is a conclusion. It ends the thought. The second statement is a beginning. It starts a puzzle in her mind. What energy? What does he see in me? Is it good or bad? Her mind starts working for you. Now you understand the what. You understand the theory. You have seen the weapon. But a weapon is useless if you do not know how to use it. In the next section, the most important part of this video, I will give you the how, the step-by-step formula, the exact sequence to set the Machiavellian trap. You have the mindset. You understand the language. Now, it is time to practice the art of planting a thought in her mind and letting it grow into an obsession. Forget clever lines, forget jokes. Those are the weapons of amateurs. The weapons of a strategist are invisible. It is the rhythm, the tone, and above all, the silence. A word spoken slowly with intention. will have 1,000 times more weight than a torrent of rushed sentences and a well-placed silence. It will create a psychological pull stronger than any words. Now, listen very carefully. I will give you the exact sequence. The step-by-step mind trap. Memorize it. Practice it. But most importantly, understand the power behind each step. Step 1. Calm energy. When you enter the conversation, bring an absolute sense of calm. No rushing, no hurry. Your energy must say, I am here, but I do not need to be here. Your reaction does not determine my mood. This is the foundation. Without this step, everything else crumbles. Step 2. Eye contact. This is not the needy stare of a beggar. No, this is the gaze of a hunter, a psychologist. You look at her as if you are reading her, as if you are seeing through her social mask to the real person within. Your gaze must be focused, yet calm. It must say, I see you, not please see me. Step 3. Drop the emotional hook. This is when you set the bait. Wait for the right moment. Not when it's noisy, not when she's distracted. Wait for a moment when the air becomes quiet. When she's truly paying attention to you. Look her straight in the eye. Pause for a second. And in a calm, steady, almost whispering tone, say this. There is something about you that both draws me in and puts me on guard. I am not sure if it's a good thing, or a dangerous one. Then, you do the most important thing. You remain silent. This is the moment of truth. This is the point where 99% of men fail miserably. They feel the tension and they break it. They laugh nervously. They rush to explain, oh, what I meant was... They destroy the entire trap they just carefully set, but you will not. You will say nothing. You will let that silence hang in the air, heavy with meaning. You will hold your gaze for one more second, then calmly look away, as if you have just stated an obvious fact. Why? Because in that moment of silence, her mind is working for you. A storm of questions is erupting in her head. What does he see in me? Why on guard? What's dangerous? No one has ever said that to me. You have planted the seed. Now for the art of disappearance. True obsession is nurtured when you are not there. Most men think they have to constantly text, constantly interact to not be forgotten. Mistake. Your disappearance is a strategy, not an accident. It creates something called psychological gravity. When you go silent after leaving such a strong emotional imprint, her mind starts to pull you back. She will replay that moment over and over. Your words, your tone, your gaze, your silence. And when you return, never explain. No. Sorry, I was busy. Just drop a vague, powerful spark. Just heard a song. Made me think of you. Short, powerful, needless. Psychologically, what you have just done is exploit the Zeigarnik effect. The human brain hates unfinished stories. It hates unclosed loops. By dropping the emotional hook and leaving without an explanation, you have turned yourself into an unfinished story in her mind. She will be unconsciously driven to find the answer. She will be forced to return to you, at least in her thoughts. And that is how obsession begins. This trap is extremely powerful. It is almost unfair, but it becomes completely useless if you make one fundamental mistake that most good men make, a mistake that can destroy everything you have just built. In this final part, we will dissect that mistake to ensure you never fall victim to it. We have reached the end of the road, and if you have been listening, you will understand this truth. You do not have to beg, you do not have to perform, you do not have to chase her with endless texts or constant attention. Real power, it's real influence. It happens in the silence. Real attraction. It is built in the space between the words. This is the art of the elite, where intrigue defeats explanation, where tension defeats comfort, because comfort will be forgotten, but tension is addictive. Years from now, she will not remember every word you said. She will not remember your stories, but she will remember. She will never forget how you made her feel. If she felt intrigue, she will think of you when the night falls. If she felt tension, she will replay that moment in her mind. And if she felt a spark of danger, a spark of inexplicable desire, then you are no longer a man she once met. You have become a permanent thought. You are living in her mind rent-free. When you master this art, you are not just talking to her. You are leaving echoes in her subconscious. Echoes that will grow louder. in your absence. And now, as promised, the 19-word sentence, the Machiavellian linguistic trap designed to trigger confusion and desire at the same time, the final weapon. Here it is. Wait for the right moment in the conversation. When she is focused on you, look her straight in the eye, pause for a beat to let the silence have weight, and say, I have to be careful with you. Your energy is both dangerously attractive and makes one want to explore. Then to aim, to while you remain silent and observe, do not explain, do not smile, let the sentence do its work. Understand that this is not just a dating tactic. This is a philosophy of self-mastery, mastering your energy and your presence. It does not just help you in conversations, it gives you an invisible edge in every aspect of life, from the boardroom to your most important relationships. That is real power. If you have watched this far, and you feel a shift inside you, a shift away from your old self, do two things. First, type the word Machiavelli in the comments, not for me, for yourself, to seal the commitment that you are ready. Second, hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell, because if you think this was powerful, there's the next video where we will dissect how to use silence as a weapon to force her to reveal herself. Will completely change your game. See you then.